So, this is definitely not the video that I thought we would be making today. We're diving into projected top prospect in the 2026 NHL Draft, Gavin McKenna, and rumors surrounding the Chicago Blackhawks that suggest that they apparently don't want him. Now, of course, that's an update that I think a lot of fans around the NHL, around Penn State University, prospect fans that had been following the rankings and taking a look at top guys over the next few years, that would be seen as total blasphemy, wouldn't it be? Hey, Gavin McKenna's cousin is Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard is on Chicago. What do you mean Chicago apparently doesn't want Gavin McKenna? Well, let's dive into it. And the reason we are talking about this entire thing is because of an article posted on HabsFanatics.com by Elias Edmondson 2 days ago. Yeah, I know, it's HabsFanatics.com. It's like, huh? Why are they going out there and talking about this? But this piece will be linked in the description below, why the Blackhawks are unlikely to draft Gavin McKenna despite his ties to Connor Bedard. Gavin McKenna's name is on everyone's lips right now, and for reasons you already know well. Given what has happened to him this month, his felony charge, the dropped felony charge, the potential of him going to prison for 20 years, and his teammates commenting UFC fighters in the comment section of his Instagram post, his status ahead of the next NHL draft is raising legitimate questions. However, a surprising piece of info has just surfaced regarding the Chicago Blackhawks' interest in the young prodigy, and this was well before the recent developments complicated matters. According to journalist Scott Powers, who covers the team for The Athletic, it was already very unlikely that McKenna would end up in Chicago, even before the events of the past few days. Now, this is all via a piece that was posted onto The Athletic by them and Scott Powers, of course, so I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go out there and read this yourself too. But the way everything is worded and the way the info is presented, it makes it seem like if Chicago had the first overall pick, if they had the opportunity to draft Gavin McKenna, right now they're 6th overall in the draft rankings, if they somehow went up to 1 or 2, if they somehow had the option to draft Gavin McKenna, word on the block is that they wouldn't. Let's scroll down over here. The natural connection between McKenna and Connor Bedard seemed to pave the way for a reunion in Chicago. The two players are cousins by marriage and they share a close relationship, which fueled a dream scenario for fans, seeing the two phenoms united on the same NHL line. Powers notes in his Athletic article that the organization is indeed looking to add another high-end forward to its prospect pool, but Gavin McKenna's name does not appear to be at the top of their list. In fact, it doesn't seem to be on their list at all. The Blackhawks weren't likely to draft Gavin McKenna before. It's even less likely now. Now, of course, when he says now, he's referring to the felony and everything, but seems like the Gavin McKenna physical altercation may have just sealed his fate on going to Chicago. The Blackhawks are not interested, supposedly, with all of that. Scott Powers' tweet promoting the article goes out there and says this: the Panthers' first-round pick is top 10 protected, so what happens if the Panthers do pick that early? That and more about the Blackhawks' 2026 draft possibilities. Of course, that's a pretty big deal, diving into the Florida first being top 10 protected from that Seth Jones trade. We didn't realize it was top 10 protected until a few days ago when Sarah Bailey reported it. But going out there and here, this is a clip as well posted by Chicago Blackhawks and their podcast. This clip talks about how if Gavin McKenna was still available, they're saying on the pod that they don't think the Chicago Blackhawks will take him. Even if he is there, even if they have the chance to do it, it doesn't seem like a fit from what Chicago seems to value. They just don't seem like they care or want this guy too much. And if we go out there and read some of the replies to this tweet, you can see that it's got 47k views and 300 replies. LOL, what? A kid got in a fight, lol. He plays hockey. If anyone is debating whether or not he is still a top talent worth drafting, they should be fired. Podcast equipment has to become more expensive. What an idiotic take. Holy F. One of the best players in your franchise's history beat the wheels off a cab driver for 13 cents, and you're saying this? And then you have a more non-reactionary reply. If the details of this situation are accurate and McKenna is available to the Blackhawks, then passing on him for anyone other than Stenberg would be a complete failure given how meh the forwards class is looking. And so, Chicago fans don't seem to be too happy with that idea. Hey, we could pass on McKenna. If they draft first, they draft second, he's on the board. Doesn't seem like McKenna is high up on their list, which I guess starts to become a little bit more subjective depending on who you ask about it. Like, the reason I say that is because we already had word from Vancouver insiders. Yeah, Vancouver, the team that's actually number one in the current draft lottery odds and simulators. We had word from Rick Dhaliwal that Vancouver really liked Ivar Stenberg. They really liked Tynan Lawrence. It wasn't really until later on in the draft season that it was noted that Gavin McKenna actually is somewhat a priority on their draft list as well. It seemed more so like Vancouver was either interested in the top Swede or in the projected top center, if you wanted to exclude Caleb Malhotra from that conversation. And now, Chicago coming out here with reports out of powers that apparently McKenna isn't too high up on their list either. And that's even more bizarre considering the Connor Bedard factor. So, at the end of the day, I don't really know how to reply to this. I don't know how to analyze it. I don't know how to react to it. I just wanted to make a video about it with the information that we have at hand and ask you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Gavin McKenna and the idea that Chicago would pass on him if they were given the opportunity to draft somebody else, like a Stenberg or I don't know, any other names that were listed as potential options for them, but hey, even on some of the other lists here, he is not the number one guy. Tony Ferrari of the Hockey News actually has Gavin McKenna as the number 3 overall prospect. They have Tynan Lawrence and Ivar Stenberg over him. Could you imagine if Tynan Lawrence with 2 points in 11 NCAA games goes second overall? That would be absolutely insane. But with all that said, thoughts in the comment section below. McKenna to Chicago, yay or nay if you're a Hawks fan. How does that make you feel? Are you getting all worried at this stage? Are you worried that your GM might just screw it up here and not take the easy pick? We just made a video an hour and a half ago talking about Shane Wright and the Montreal Canadiens passing on him. That was a similar sort of attitude back in the day. Habs fans saying, hey, can't just make the easy choice. Take the guy that was projected number 1 the whole year. It's not hard. Don't overcomplicate things. And then that guy that was supposed to go number 1 slipped to number 4 to Seattle. Can we see something similar here with Gavin McKenna? And can Chicago be a part of the list of teams that pulls him further down the draft board if they're given the opportunity to do that? Thoughts in the comment section below about Gavin McKenna and his NHL future. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.